Have you ever walked into a room and just like gotten this instant like feeling of happy? You know, it just zings like straight to your soul. What if you could just have that feeling, but like all of your house on purpose?
Yeah, it's that feeling that we're really exploring today, that feeling of joy. Today, we are diving into this world, this idea of dopamine decor.
Dopamine decor. It just sounds like fun right off the bat. It really does. It's all about intentionally bringing these things into your home, into your space that just instantly make you smile.
Yeah.
And I think it's for good reason that this is like a huge trend right now.
Totally. Totally. It's really about creating a space for yourself that really supports your well-being, supports your happiness. And so what we're going to do today is just give you all the details, all the insights about this whole idea. We're going to look at what it means. We're going to look at how it might connect to how our brains work. And we're going to give you a ton of really easy and really fun ideas of how to bring this into your own home, no matter your style and no matter how much money you want to spend on it. It's like a happiness hack, but for your house.
It's exactly. Yeah, happiness hack for your home.
I love that. And we've actually been looking at a bunch of different sources to get ready for this deep dive. And I think they have some really, really interesting ideas that we can share with you guys so you can understand this whole trend and make it work for you in your own life. So
Yeah.
let's get into it. I guess for those of you out there who are new to this whole concept, this whole idea of dopamine decor, what does it actually mean?
So I think the simplest way to think about it is to imagine decorating with anything that just makes you really happy.
Right.
So we're talking those bright colors, that give you energy. We're talking fun textures that you just want to touch. And we're even talking about little things like a cool vase that you found that reminds you of your grandma, those little personal touches that make you happy. There was one article we read and it described this whole idea as like your house giving you a high five every time you walk in. Oh my gosh, I love that. A house that gives you a high five. I love that. So it's less about like following all the rules of interior design and more about like just tuning into what makes you happy. Where did this whole concept even come from? It feels like it's just exploded recently.
You're right. The whole idea of surrounding yourself with things you like has been around forever. But the term dopamine decor does feel like a newer thing. And it seems to be connected to dopamine dressing, which is where you wear clothes that make you feel happy. And you're right. It feels like it's really blown up on TikTok and Instagram where everyone's sharing all their colorful and personality-filled homes.
Okay, yeah. You see those like incredible before and afters that people do. You can just feel that like happy energy just coming through the screen.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a trend that's going to be gone in a week or two then. It seems like it's tapping into something bigger.
Yeah.
Like about how we want our homes to feel.
Exactly. I think a lot of these sources suggest that this is less about some fad that comes and goes and more about just this desire that we all have to create spaces where we feel good. Our homes are our little havens, and I think we all deserve to have a space that makes us feel happy.
Right. Okay, so we have a pretty good idea now of what this whole dopamine decor thing is all about. But now let's get to like the nerdy part. One of the articles called it the brainy side. I love that. I love that. So how do all these colors and things that we're surrounding ourselves with, how could they actually impact our mood? Is there really a connection to dopamine, the feel-good chemical?
Right. That is the question, isn't it? I mean, obviously we can't say that like putting a bright vase on your shelf is instantly going to like flood your brain with dopamine. That would be crazy. But there is evidence to suggest that these things are all connected. So a lot of experts in neuroscience believe that when you're in a place with lots of visual stimulation, like bright colors or fun patterns, especially things that remind you of good memories that can activate the reward centers in your brain, those parts that make you feel good. And what's one of the main chemicals in those pathways? Dopamine.
Oh, so maybe that bright yellow throw pillow I've had my eye on isn't just a pretty color. Maybe it's actually like messing with my brain chemistry in a good way, of course.
Yeah, and color psychology isn't like an exact science, but there are certain associations that keep coming up. So like a lot of these articles were saying that yellow is often associated with optimism. And when you have lots of different patterns that can make you feel more energized. And like you said earlier, those little objects that remind us of good memories and good times. Like let's say you have a shelf full of postcards from all the places you've traveled.
Oh my gosh, my shelf of travel memories. It is pretty dusty though. But maybe they're not just taking up space. Maybe they're actually like these little dopamine triggers.
Right. And so it's not just the postcards themselves, but all those good memories and feelings that are associated with them. That's a really powerful thing, and it can definitely affect how you feel in your home. One research paper actually said that surrounding yourself with things that are both visually appealing and personally meaningful can actually nudge your mood upwards throughout the day. They put it in quotes even. Nudge your mood upwards.
Oh,
Or
wow, that's so cool. Okay, I'm like really getting into this now. Like I'm starting to see my whole house in a different light, more colorful light. So if someone's listening right now and thinking, okay, this sounds amazing. I need some of that happy energy in my house. What are some things they can do to get started? What are some like actionable things? How can they actually do dopamine decor without it becoming too overwhelming?
that is the question. How do you bring in the joy without having it be too much? Luckily, you don't have to like redecorate your whole house overnight. The experts we were reading about, they say that you should just start small, be really intentional about it. So maybe add like one or two things that make you really happy. So maybe it's a bright colored cushion on your couch, or a cozy blanket on your favorite armchair, or even a bright green houseplant with cool leaves. You don't have to suddenly paint your whole house in rainbow colors, unless you want to.
That's good to hear. I was picturing myself surrounded by neon colors, and I was like, I don't know about that. So even those really small changes can actually have a big impact on how a space feels.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those of you out there that are like, yeah, give me all the color, go big or go home, our sources suggest maybe a mixing and matching patterns with your fabrics, like a floral rug with striped cushions,
Right.
that kind of thing. Or you could create a feature wall with a super cool wallpaper that you love. A lot of these articles also mention going to thrift stores or vintage shops, finding those unique, colorful pieces that already have a story to tell, or even framing some of your kids' artwork and hanging it up. That's a really easy way to bring in something personal and something joyful.
I love that idea. It's like those personal touches that make your home yours. It's not like something you just bought in a store. So really, at the end of the day, it all comes down to you and your own taste, right?
Right. I think if we had to sum up all these articles and all the experts, they would all say that dopamine decor is a personal thing. There are no rules. It's about creating a space that feels authentically you and brings you happiness.
That's cool. So, I can see some people getting a little worried about going too far,
Yeah.
like ending up with a space that's just way too much, like too much color, too much stuff. How do you strike that balance? How do you keep your home from feeling totally chaotic?
You're totally right. Balance is so important. And a lot of these experts recommend picking a few statement pieces, like maybe a bright yellow chair that you just love, or a wall that's painted your favorite color, and then just having those pops of color balanced out by other neutral things. So your eye has somewhere to rest. It's not just like bam, color, color, color everywhere you look. Another great tip that we saw a lot was sticking to like a vibe that connects everything together, even when you're using all these different colors. So maybe you decide you're going with a warm color palette, even though there are a lot of different shades. That way your space feels exciting and fun, but it still makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So it's like having those little anchors of calm in the middle of all the pops of joy. That makes sense. So one final question. Why do you think this whole dopamine decor trend is so popular right now? Like, why is everyone talking about this?
So these articles highlighted a few reasons, and I think number one is that for a while, minimalism was so popular. Everything was gray and white and neutral. And I think people are kind of over that now. Like, people want their homes to feel joyful and cozy and just express who they are. Especially after the last few years have been kind of rough, Our homes have become even more important to us now, and I think we want to feel really good when we're in them.
Totally. I mean, you spend so much time in your house that you really start to realize what feels good and what doesn't.
Exactly. And I think another reason for why it's so popular is because of social media. TikTok and Instagram. Everyone loves those before and after videos.
Yeah.
Where it's like, blah, boring room, and then suddenly, bam, it's this happy, colorful space. It's like we're getting a little hit of dopamine just by watching those videos.
Totally agree. Like, you can't help but smile when you see a space that's just full of personality and happiness. Okay, so to wrap it all up, what's the one big takeaway from our deep dive into this whole dopamine decor world?
I think the big idea is that it's all about filling your home with those things that bring you joy, those things that spark something in you. And these things actually have the power to make you feel better. It's about having a home that reflects your personality and where you feel happy and energized just by being there.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
So for those of you listening right now that are like, yeah, I want to try this. I want to add a little of that happy magic to my house. What's one small thing you could do this week to get started?
Just take a look around your space right now and think, is
Mm.
there anything you can add or even just change a little bit? Maybe it's a colorful mug for your coffee, maybe it's a picture that makes you smile,
Ah.
or even just rearranging some things you already have to make them feel a little more fun and exciting. So ask yourself, what's one little pop of joy that you can add to your space this week that will make you happy?
I love that. Such a good challenge for everyone listening. And here's one last thought for y'all to think about. Think about how all those things around you, those everyday objects, are actually shaping how you experience your day. How are they affecting your mood? What story are your things telling about you? And even more importantly, what kind of feeling are they creating for you as you go about your day? I want you to really think about that this week. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive on dopamine decor.